And I'm Evan Baxter, and here's what's making news. A potential scandal with the Buffalo PD surfaced today when the mayor... I'm sorry, I seem to have something stuck in my arm.
Somebody get him some water, please.
It looks like my new co-anchor may need a glass of water.
All right, there we go. Sorry about that. In other news, the Prime Minister of Sweden visited Washington today, and my tiny little nipples went to France.
What did he just say? Check the prompter.
The prompter's fine.
Evan, read the copy, please. The copy's good. Just read it.
The president greeted the Prime Roast Minister, and I do the cha-cha like a sissy girl. I like a do the cha-cha. Sorry, we seem to be having some technical difficulties. My apologies. Ah! Bruce Almighty, released in 2003 and is directed by Tom Shattuck, who's also directed such amazing comedic pieces like Ace Ventura, Liar Liar, and The Nutty Professor. Basically, he is the big comedic director that can hone down and focus in on Jim Carrey. And this film stars Jim Carrey, Morgan Freeman, Jennifer Aniston, Philip Baker Hall, and Steve Carell. And this film comes as a recommendation from one of my subscribers, Gemma R. You recommended Bruce Almighty, and I gotta say, I'm absolutely flattered, and I love that you made this choice because this movie is just, it's sweet all around. Brings back a lot of good memories for me too. And before we get going, I just want to say thank you to everyone for understanding that I couldn't get an episode out last week. It was my spring break, and I had every intention of just recording and getting so far ahead that I can kind of, you know, relax and take a break maybe a couple months down the road. That did not happen, as you can probably hear in my voice. I was hit with a major cold. And not just like a sniffles and a sore throat. No, this was actually pretty serious. I had a really, really bad fever for several days. I actually took a trip to the emergency room, my first ambulance ride, so that was fun. So the 7-day vacation I had off from my job and from teaching that I was going to spend working on this channel just went kaput. But I'm here and I am pushing myself to get at least one of these done so I can get back onto some kind of schedule. So if my voice goes throughout this review, please go easy on me. Plus, I can't really hear much, so if it is going, I may not be able to tell. That being said, let's get into Bruce Almighty. Bruce Nolan is a television reporter for Eyewitness News, but Bruce is feeling very unfulfilled and stuck in every aspect of his life, whether it's with his job or whether it's with his relationship with Grace Connolly, to the point where Bruce starts expelling his frustration with God. So God takes this as an opportunity to teach him a lesson. God, played by Morgan Freeman, gives Bruce his powers, and for the foreseeable future has Bruce run the world. At least I'm pretty sure that was the original intent behind this film, was for Bruce to become God of the world. But I'm pretty sure as they were like midway through the script, they realized that no, that wouldn't make sense if this person that has no idea how to do the job of God suddenly just started running the world. Everything would just be into chaos right away. So they just narrow it down a couple of blocks in Buffalo, New York, which I gotta say, smart choice. Because with this concept, there are tons of threads and sections that you can poke a million holes in. I mean, heck, I do it for the script that we got anyway. But Bruce Almighty, I remember when this came out back in 2003, and I was so pumped because Jim Carrey, he was my idol back then. I idolized everything that he did. I wanted to be Jim Carrey. I would do little Jim Carrey bits in high school and do little sketches of his. Everyone thought I was funny, even though I was just ripping off his material. So when the news came that we're getting a new Jim Carrey comedy, and this time he has the powers of God, yes, sign me up. I will be there opening day. And like I said before, this film is such a sweet movie. This film just has endless sugarcoating on top of it. Everyone's story gets resolved, everyone has a happy ending, and it's nice to see that sometimes when you don't get the harsh and dark grittiness of real life smacking you in the face. Even though if you start dissecting this film and start dissecting these characters, you can get some pretty dark stuff. Like Bruce Nolan, he is an asshole. He is so selfish. He's only thinking about himself. He doesn't even think about his girlfriend, his longtime girlfriend and Grace Connolly. Everything revolves around him and his emotions and his frustrations with his job because he thinks that he should be doing more and should be doing better, which a majority of us get to at a point in our lives where we feel stuck in a rut at a job or in a relationship and we just feel like we need to get out, or we need to do, I deserve to be doing something better because I am the best. I am better than the Eben Baxter, rather. And I think Jim Carrey plays him perfectly. If it were played by anyone else, we would probably just look at him as an asshole. But because it's Jim Carrey and he's doing his schmucky Jim Carrey-ish type things, we're laughing as this is going along. And we're liking all of his little quips and phrases that he's saying along the way. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. B-E-A beautiful. It's good. It's good. It's good. He is an asshole, but there is something charming about him. He is a good soul becoming lost in himself, and I think that's why God takes an interest into him. Even though he's supposed to take an interest into all of us, right? I gotta say, when you're thinking about God now, you automatically go to Morgan Freeman. Because personally, I don't know if there is a God or if one exists out there, but if there is one, I would love it to be Morgan Freeman. Actually, I'd like to think of God more as a woman. I would feel safer with that, even though God probably wouldn't identify themselves as any specific gender. They would just be some omnipotent being. Basically, nowadays, I think of God like Tilda Swinton in Doctor Strange. But Morgan Freeman is a close second for me. But I love this interpretation of God. You just look at him and he commands your attention. He's not gonna bullshit you, but he's also a joyous spirit. One of the first things that we see God do is play the clap on, clap off song. Clap on, clap off, clap on, clap off, the clapper. Because it's a jingle that you just can't get out of his head. I love that. But the person that steals the film and everyone thought stole the film was Steve Carell as Evan Baxter. And that whole little bit that I did at the beginning of this video, that's what really put him on the map, I think. Because really before that, I hadn't even heard of Steve Carell. But his character became so popular, his moments became so popular in this film that they actually did a spin-off of Bruce Almighty called Evan Almighty. Evan doesn't get the powers of God, but it's a whole Noah's Ark situation. Yeah, it's definitely not as good as this. It's still a simple, lighthearted, fine time, though. The performances, I think, are very, very solid when it comes to this story. Again, I think it's simple. There was a lot of stuff that was cut from this film. There was this long-running device that they were doing that they completely wiped out altogether, where Bruce would be answering people's prayers as they were in conversation. So they'd be talking, and then all of a sudden the person that Bruce is talking to gets down on their knees and starts praying to them, and then he assumes the role of God in that situation, but then they come out of it and they don't have any recollection of it ever doing that to Bruce. It was confusing watching those. Good call on cutting those out, but you can tell that there's just a lot in here that's kind of cut and pasted, which is not technically a bad thing. If something's not working, yes, by all means, please cut it and leave it on the cutting room floor. But I think that's why they were running into the issue of if Bruce is becoming God of the entire world, no, we need to narrow that down a little bit more. No, we actually need to narrow that down even more still. Because it comes to a point in this movie where Bruce has to start answering these prayers or they're gonna keep building up in his ear. He's not gonna be able to hear or think anymore. So his idea is just to say yes to any prayer that's coming in. And you hear that everyone is winning the lottery, but because everyone's winning, they only win like $17. Losing weight on the Krispy Kreme diet, which, God, that'd be nice. Just all these little things, but in the back of my mind, I always thought, well, if you're saying yes to everyone, what if someone is praying that someone else didn't get what they wanted? Let's say I'm watching a basketball game and I want one of the teams to win, but someone else wants the other one to win. How does that work? This film is filled with those. But I believe that all of these holes in this film is all saved with this film's overall message. And it's this message that I wish at least majority of religions would start adapting and truly believing in. And that's the message of you being the miracle. There is a wonderful line that God says in this film where he says, "Parting your soup bowl is not a miracle, Bruce, it's a magic trick." A single mom working 2 jobs and still finds time to take his son to soccer practice, now that's a miracle. A teenager that says no to drugs and yes to an education, That's a miracle. People want me to do everything for them, but what they don't realize is they have the power. You want a miracle, Bruce? Be the miracle. That is just, it's a perfect, it's a sweet message. When I was being brought up, I was always told to, look to the heavens, ask for help, look up there. When in reality, really, we need to be looking down here with each other. We can help each other. That's what God wants us to do. That is why God put us on this earth. That is why God gave us this thing called free will. I absolutely love this message. I love the performances. Jim Carrey, Steve Carell, Morgan Freeman. Love all of them. Are there many holes in this film? Oh God, yes. Is that ending cheesy as hell? Oh God, yes. But I'm a cheese lover. I love cheese. I love all kinds of cheese. So give me all that cheesiness. I love it. I'm gonna give Bruce Almighty 4 out of 5 Blu-rays.
It's good. It's good. It's good.
Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part in my videos where I randomly select which movie I'm gonna be watching next, so let's take a look. Cool. Cloverfield. This film, I remember, this was an event. I believe it was 2009, 2011, somewhere in there. And I want to say this is J.J. Abrams, right? I don't want to look it up now. I'll look it up next time, but I'm pretty sure it's J.J. Abrams. But it's one of those found footage films. This is really when the craze started really taking off, and everyone started doing it, especially if it was a horror movie. But I haven't seen the original in so long. I know we've had some slightly spin-off sequel films to it. But I'll give it a watch here next time. Thank you very much, Gemma R, for the recommendation. If any of you have recommendations of films that you want me to review on here, please leave your comment below this video, or go to my Facebook page, my Instagram, or my Twitter. Leave your recommendation there, and if I have access to it, I will watch it, review it, and give you a shout out here on the channel. And don't forget, we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and if we do so, I'm going to be watching Arachnophobia, which is a major milestone for me. A milestone in that I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna do it to torture myself for all of you. So keep talking to your friends, your family, bring them on in. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So everyone, have you seen Bruce Almighty? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, please comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And when you're done commenting, please like and subscribe to my channel so you know the next time I post my next movie review. Alright everyone, I will see you next time with my review of Cloverfield. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.